Hello, am I talking to anybody out there?
Hello, am I talking to
Or am I just talking by myself? Okay. Shane was on here briefly and then he signed off. But at least I have somebody on. This is a very impromptu, this is more of an impromptu show because we were just, and you probably all know. But for Alex, who's not on anymore, we had Shane and Chad over. We had a nice dinner over at the Sammy Malone's and we got to catch up. I especially was very, very interested myself. I was interested in reminiscing over Graham and Novum stories. What made it more interesting for me was learning Shane and Chad's side, because I forgot that. Yes, obviously they're older, but they lived through at least back from my memory. Excuse me. They lived through it more than we did. And I know Mom was trying to add on her memories, and it was just very interesting to hear what happened before we were born, and their different perspectives on it. Because everybody has, I'm sure you can say the same, but everybody has different experiences with different people, or at least we have. The way I take it is we all have different experiences, even with one person, and you can see it from when you hear the different sides. You can really get an appreciation of how other people really took that same person. For example, I only have limited memories and experiences of not just Grandma Nobums, but Uncle John and Shane and Chad. And even though I wasn't able to live the experiences that, like, let's say, Shane and Chad and Mom have of let's say Grandma Nobums, I can relate to that because she exhibited the similar characteristics of when I knew her. I mean, for example, they were sharing the story of digging the pool, which I heard before, but I didn't really hear in that much detail before tonight. I knew they dug their own pool, but I didn't really know exactly what the particulars were. And to hear it, now to hear it as an adult and hear it from Chad and Shane's perspective, that was quite interesting. And then, of course, we were back at Sammy Malone's, where we dumped their ashes. And that it all comes full circle. So I'm glad we had a wonderful time, and I'm glad that we got to catch up. And I'm going to try to go shorter on these breaks because I know it's late, and this is kind of like an impromptu show, and we must be all tired. I know I get tired this late at night, so it was just nice. It was just nice catching up with Chad and Shane. Shane was on, but then he signed off. So we're going to get right back into it, and coming up next, we have I have a lot of pictures to share with you tonight. And we're going to get more into that later. Yes, we're going to get more into that later. Coming up next, right after these few songs. We actually have Nelly and Florida Georgia Line Little Bit, which Chad particularly liked. We played it at his wedding, and they danced. They danced there. I'm sorry. Yes, and they. I think they requested it, and they danced to it. So we're going to play that in tribute to them. So here we go. You know, every time I play that song, it takes me back to Chad and Mindy's wedding, and ev- going back to that, that was a fun. Well, that's the only wedding I DJ'd so far, but that was. I remember that being a fun wedding to DJ, and not just Chad and Mindy, but the whole family got involved, and especially who I wish they were on here right now. Uh, More on Mindy's side of the family, those girls like Sarah, Grace Glenn, and Patrick Glenn. That they made it fun, and I enjoyed it. And I wish, and I haven't been able to do that again. And I just wish there comes. I just wish there would come another opportunity like that soon. And I don't know. Again, I don't know when another opportunity will come like that, but I'll never forget it. That was an amazing experience, and I remember trying to duplicate that with other family events, but there hasn't been a wedding or an event that I got to DJ like that, and it still sticks in my brain, still sticks in my memory of what a fun time we all had. And there are some times when I go down to Binghamton to work, and I know they don't live. I think they live in Pennsylvania on a farm. Chan and Shane showed pictures of their pigs, which I thought one of the pigs looked pretty cute. I mean, it was hilarious to look at, and I don't have them to show you right here, but so I must have learned something tonight. They must have moved down to Pennsylvania. They don't live in Binghamton anymore. They must have moved down. I know they have a farm. They have a pig farm. I'm guessing in Pennsylvania now. But every time I go down to the Binghamton area, because I pass by. I don't pass by their house, but I pass by the areas where I remember. I think we used to, or the areas near the area where we had that wedding. And every time I go down there, I think back to that unforgettable experience, and I'm just hoping that there will be something like that I get to do again, hopefully. Enough of that spiel. It's time to shift gears, actually. So let's shift gears. I did a lot of traveling this week. A lot of traveling. And this is, if you don't recognize this is the Olympic Center up in Lake Placid. I was up there for 2 jobs this week. And this is, if you remember, this is where all the flags were. And as you can see, that's the front of it. And I just wanted to take a picture of what it looks like now, because I've not been up here in at least, I think, 25 years. And we still have this picture. Obviously, the snow is gone. But we have a picture from, I want to say 1997 of that in front of, we were in front of this sign, actually. And just another picture. And I actually went in, and these trophies are not actually Olympic trophies. If you look closely, you'll see, I don't know if you can really make out, but you can see more recent. Looks like skating. a skating awards or something like that. And I thought this was cool. The site of the Olympic, where it says site of the Olympic Games, and that this is pretty. I don't know what this is, but it looks pretty cool, so I took a picture of it. And as you can see, what it looks like downhill skiing or something. And I just got a closer view of the flags. And what's interesting is the South Korean flag is still up there. So you notice the South Korean flag and all these other flags are still up here. As you can see, we have this in pictures as well. A little bit different is you can't stand. They must have changed the bottom, because I remember you could actually stand on these, because there were concrete that went, I want to say, this high, and as you can see, they removed them. And here I am trying to recreate. You can't see it, but I'm standing in front of the South Korean flag. I'm trying to recreate the photo that I have. Let me see if I can pull it up. I know it's in my memory video. I know the original picture is in my memory video, so let me just see. For comparison. Nope, hold on. Your videos. Trying to get a side by side comparison. Memory. Memory video. I know I put it in my memory video, and I think it's along the trip section. Oh, aha! Right here. Oops. This was taken, I think, 25 years ago, and as you can see, there was snow on it. And if we go back to the present now, oops. It's the same sign. I mean, look at it. We kind of put the two. If we kind of put the two side by side, I mean, take a look at that. That is the same sign, except for no snow here. It's remained unchanged. And I remember this photo when it was taken, which I think it was 25 years ago or something, and now I have an opportunity to take a picture of that same exact sign right here, and so I thought that was cool. I think I also have the other sign, or I have the other picture of where I'm standing in front of the flag. No, it's not in here. But I do remember taking that picture. Oh, this is okay. That's something different. Okay, sorry. Now, if we go back to the present, so I remember taking a picture in front of the flag in a similar fashion. I want to say 25 years ago, and I thought I just recreated here. I thought this was interesting. It's there and back again. And if you can't read the plaque, Reverend J. Bernard Fell, to sum it up, he essentially brought the Olympic Games to Lake Placid. He was the man who brought the 1980 Olympic Games to Lake Placid. So, without him, the Olympic Games would not be in Lake Placid, and there would be no Miracle on Ice. This actually, what you're looking at is Mirror Lake, and did you know? I don't know if you ever knew this, but there's no actually Lake Placid. The village of Lake Placid, according to this, hugs the shores of Mirror Lake. And so I actually took this home walk. I actually walked the whole 2.7 miles around. And what's interesting is that there are no motorized boats. There are no motorized boats in this lake. And so what you'll see, this is the world's largest toboggan chute, or the Mirror Lake Toboggan Chute. That's what you're seeing here. I don't know if it's the world's largest, but it's pretty big. So what you'll see here is, and I found this was interesting, is the challenge to love the Adirondacks. And it's a pledge to do all these different things to conserve, love the Adirondacks. It was essentially an environmental conservation challenge, I believe, or something. And this is the beach, and what you're seeing is different angles around the lake. And I found this interesting. I thought there were lanes or something. I don't know. And this is the Mirror Lakes Food Web. So there were informational signs like this all around. Oops. And again, no gas motors. So this is interesting because this lake does not allow any motorized watercraft of any kind. And as you can see, just different views from around the lake. Yes, different views. Oops. Different views from around the lake and all that kind of stuff. And then I knew we were close. Here's more lake views. I also remembered from our trip 25 years ago that there was a North Pole, New York. So I took a trip up there quickly, and I took pictures of it was closed, but I took pictures of what I could see, and as you can see, that's North Pole, New York, and I remember going up there. I do. And that was a fun trip. And again, I haven't been up here in 25 years, so I enjoyed myself. I don't know when they're open. Oh. And then this is my Airbnb that I stayed at. It's pretty cool. It's amazing. It's reasonably priced too. I only paid like $77 for the room. And this is actually the historic Prescott House. And it's in Saranac Lake. And you get the bang for your buck in this place. This is the second time I've stayed here, and I got to go out on the porches and whatnot. Oh, so and every time I'm up in the area, I like to stay in this house. It's pretty cozy and it's pretty comfortable. Oops. I accidentally logged out of the system, so bear with me as I try to get back in. Yes, it was an air. Oop. Can everybody still see me? Can every? I know I can't see myself, but yes, it was an Airbnb, and it was pretty reasonably priced too. It was very reasonably priced. As I said, I only paid about $77, and it was pretty comfortable. Yes, it was pretty comfortable. Let's get back on track. I have more pics. I have more pics to show you, but let's take a break for now and get back to the music, and then come back. I just want to make sure that everybody can see me because I signed off, and let's just make sure that we're back on track. So we're going to take a music break. We're going to come back. I'm going to show you more pictures. Yeah, we don't usually play this one in the rotation of Forever Living Classics. And again, this category is reserved for the songs that they performed, actually, as as a way to pay homage to the original Forever Living, as the station bears its name. And we move on to, let's see. Oh yes, back to more. And you can't see me. Now you can see me. We're gonna move on now to Broadalbin. And I find it funny that we were both in Broadalbin. Actually, Rachel was in Broadalbin first, and she got access to she got pictures of the outside, and then I went up and took pictures of the front. I mean the back. Let me say that again. She took pictures of the front, and I took pictures of the back. And as you can see, hold on. There's much more to see from the back, including, and this is my theory. I think they took the MV cart and they made it their own. And it's still in the same position that I remember putting it back when Grandma and Grandpa lived there. So it looks like they took parts of the cart and they put together a new one with some new parts. Also, you notice the garden is gone. They're not really keeping up much of a garden. I mean, there isn't really a garden back there. If you look closely, there isn't. No, there is no garden. They've kind of left it bare back there, and they still kept the playhouse, as you can see. And this is just some more pictures. And again, now we're over in the other yard, taking a look at the same house, the same yard, but from a slightly different view. And again, as you can see, there isn't really a garden back there. And this is just another point of view. And Rachel and I were wondering, are they still using the pool house? Because it does look a little run down. And what you don't see, but you see from the front, and that also used to be a garage. I don't know. I'd like to know if they still use. And of course, you can see this is the front of the house, obviously. And you notice here that they took the 85 off. There used to be numbers right up here, and they took it. This is the first when Rachel took pictures of the front of the house on earlier this week on Monday. I just noticed that they took the house numbers off. They probably didn't need them anymore, and as you can see, the windows are different, and the shutters are all different, and the whole interior. I'm curious to know. I'm sure we're all curious to know what the inside of the house looks like, because I know it's changed. The front door has changed. So based on what I could see, and I tend to like looking in the back, because you get a different viewpoint than you do from the front. But I could probably see that the whole house, the interior of the house, my guess is it's totally different. And remember, when we sold the house, we sold it to the We sold it to the family with their intention of flipping it. So that's what they did. They probably flipped the whole inside. Yes, they probably flipped the whole inside, and it's completely different from what we remember. It's probably completely different than what we remember seeing it as. So, and I've been here more recently. I've been to Rhode Albin more recently than Rachel has. I know that much. And so I wasn't surprised at the changes here. And, but just seeing the house made me wonder. And certain things that Rachel said also made me wonder. Like what they're doing with the back, what they're doing with the pool room and the garage. And I wonder if they still use the playhouse for something. My guess is they're probably just using it for storage, but I wouldn't know. And you could see right here, there's more leaves. There being more leaves over here. And this was October, so there are usually leaves. This is the time when the leaves would fall. There's not as much leaves, but there's lots of leaves up here. So we both got to go to Rhode Albin this week, and I'm glad. And it was interesting seeing the photos from Rachel earlier, because she had not. I know she was passing through Saratoga Springs for, what was it, a wedding or something up there. I don't know exactly. And then she also took pictures of. She shared it with the family channel of this goat walking with baby goats. Is that? I think. I remember seeing it. Oh yes, I remember seeing it. I'm trying to pull it up here on the phone. Let's see. But that was quite a week that we had. And I'm glad that you got to go to Rhode Albin and see the more recent changes that I've seen. And again, I'm glad I showed you the back pictures, because there's more to see in the back than there is in the front. And again, personally, I feel like the back is more interesting to see. Because if you notice, and I'll try to pull it up. iCloud. I'll show you the pictures one more time. There's more stuff to see in the back. And it's more memorable. And actually, there's more memories that I have when I look at the backyard than the front yard. And again, that's just personally me. I mean, you can see where the garden used to be. You can see the fences. You can see where the pool room used to be. You can see what used to be the MV cart over here. So whenever I go to Rhode Albin, I try to look at it from the back because there's more substance there to see. And okay. So I'm trying to pull. Here's the picture of, or the video of them hiking with goats. You can't really see. I don't know if you can see that very well. I learned today that this is part of the Airbnb that Rachel and Rod went to. It's part of their, that's part of the Airbnb package. I remember Rachel saying that tonight. That and if she wants to come on and clarify, but didn't you say that that was part of the Airbnb? They actually, that's the attraction. And I don't know who is that their goats? And is that the kid? Or I know you said I think they were younger. Or those are baby goats, aka kids? Okay. That's what I thought. Very, very interesting fact. Hiking with goats. That must have been a feat. Yes, that must have been a feat. And I'm just curious to know what the experience would have been like. It's getting late. We're going to take another quick break. And then we only have one Bumper to Dump It song. And because Rachel didn't get a chance to vote, I'm also going to bring back One Direction song in honor of Liam Payne. If you didn't know, last show we actually did Bumper to Dump It, all One Direction songs, and I remember the one that got the most votes was Night Changes. So I'll give you the choice, and you can pick a One Direction song that will play in addition to the Bumper to Dump It song. But right now, we'll take a quick break, and we'll go into Bumper. We'll take a quick break. We'll go into Bumper to Dump It mode next. Interesting choice. I found it interesting that you wanted to go with a story of my life. Everybody else chose Night Changes, but I don't want to influence your vote. And it kind of makes sense because we're honoring Liam Payne, and that the title kind of fits. So the title in a way kind of fits. We're gonna play that in a minute, but we'll start with this. I only have one new song, and I'm gonna start next week adding in some flashback songs. I'm also going to start by adding some flashback songs next week and give you a choice of one of those, just to add into the flavor a little bit. I know we can't just do new songs, and so I'm going to start adding some throwback songs as well in there next week. But for now, this is the only new song that you have to vote on. It's called Diet Pepsi, and it's by Addison Rae. And I'd love to know what you think of it. So get your voting caps on, and here we go. Okay, this is interesting. We have a split vote between Rachel and Elizabeth, and I'm assuming Ron also agrees with your vote. Bump. Let me just confirm that. Are Rachel and Ron split as well? But so far we have. Looks like the bumps are winning the dumps in this round. Everyone voted yes. So yes, I know. But I find it interesting that we have a split decision between Rachel and Elizabeth. We have a split decision between Rachel. Yes, okay. We have a split decision against Rachel and Ron and Elizabeth. So if you could share your sides, having a little bit mini debate, keeping with this voting theme, debate, vote, elections, you get the idea. If you could just defend your case, or if both of you could defend your case against bump, if you could, please. I'm just curious. I really am. I'm curious to know how you came up with your decisions. Rachel and Rod voted to bump, and Elizabeth has decided to dump the song, and it won't hurt my feelings either way. I'm just genuinely curious. Okay, it's not something I would listen to normally, and I know both. From what I gather, both Elizabeth and Rachel and Rod have different tastes in music, which I'm starting to get at now, and which isn't a bad thing. I know it's not a bad thing, but as we do this, I'm just continuing to gauge people's taste in music. And Rachel, do you want to defend your case against Bump for this song? If you do, if you don't, that's okay. But I'm giving each of you an opportunity to defend your case about defending your case for your votes. It does sound soothing, yes. As we wait for Rachel and Ron to say anything if they want to, we'll go with their choice of what their. And again, they went with story. Yes, it is upbeat, which I like, and it's kind of. I like the groove. I do like the beat, and I do like the groove. It's kind of one of those earworms that gets stuck in your head. So we're gonna close the show with their selection of a One Direction song, "Story of My Life," and again, this is to honor Liam Payne. Which, if you didn't know, Liam Payne passed away last week through a tragic accident. We learned that through toxicology reports, he had a whole bunch of drugs in his system, and there were reports of very bizarre behavior prior to the incident. So, very tragic death. So, we're going to close the show with One Direction, "Story of My Life." Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week we'll go back to the regular. Next week we'll go back to the regular Saturday. We'll go back to the regular Saturday next week. I really wanted to do this because I thought Shane and Chad were going to listen, and Shane did sign on for just a bit. But then he signed off. So, Mazel Tov, I'm signing off. And everyone, please stay forever living and enjoy this tribute to the late Liam Payne, One Direction story. As we close the show with One Direction, "Story of My Life." Story of My Life, right here on Forever Living Radio.